And he said, tomorrow we're going to start prayer, reflection, and meditation at 7:15 a.m. And I looked at my watch and it was 6 p.m. And I asked him, well, what do we do between now and 7:15 a.m.? And he looked at me dead in the eye and he said, you think. And I said to myself, I'm fucked.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Narwhal. I'm a filmmaker. Today is currently Saturday, May 25th at 6:42 p.m. and these are the last words I'll be saying for the next 7 days. So to start it off, I think it's important to address the why of this challenge. What's the point? When I told my friends and family that I wanted to go 7 days without saying a single word, they either thought I was completely psychotic or just trying to do something for attention or for the sake of the video. A lot of them just honestly thought it was trivial and stupid, but I'm hoping that by the end of this video, you'll kind of understand the point and why I thought that this would be beneficial. So a few months ago, I heard a clip from this guy on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast when he was explaining his experience living with monks. And I thought it was super fascinating, and the whole idea of meditation and just silence and being in your own thoughts. I thought that was really cool because a lot of people nowadays don't like doing that. Just being in their own thoughts all day is the scariest thing they can think of. It's the last thing they want to do, which is why we always distract ourselves with music and games and friends and talking and podcasts, which I'm a big fan of, and I think everybody is, and we're all grateful that we have access to these things to entertain ourselves. But I think that something is lost when we never just sit and think.
We live in a culture where silence and solitude are literally the worst form of punishment. Once you're in prison, you have to do something bad there to get put into solitary confinement, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Alone in a room, you're actually really safe. No wild animals, no one can attack you, no car accidents. So why is it so scary? It's an ultimate form of punishment. It's because we're left alone with our own minds.
And it turns out that in recent years, there's been tons of studies to prove the benefits of silence and thinking and meditation and mindfulness. And as I was diving in, doing all this research for this video, I found some things that were super fascinating. So there's a religion called the Quakers, which from my understanding are a sect of Christianity. And they basically have meetings where they all come together and they sit in a room and they sit in silence, and no one says anything unless they're urged to say something. And so there could be times where they just sit in silence for long periods of time. And it says here on their website, if pressed to say what they're actually doing in a meeting for worship, many Quakers would probably say they're waiting in their utmost hearts for the touch of something beyond their everyday selves. Some would call it listening to the quiet voice of God without trying to define that word. And regardless of your thoughts on religion or spirituality, I just think this concept is really cool to me, of people coming together to just sit, and they don't feel uncomfortable with silence. They don't feel the urge to just spit something out just to break the silence. They just sit there. And so I dug a little deeper into what this is all about. There was another study on mindfulness and meditation done called the Shamatha Project, where people went in groups. You could go with your spouse or with a friend, and for 18 months, they would go into the mountains, and for 12 hours a day, they would be in a room of silence, and there were scientists there to do tests on them, and they practiced meditation and mindfulness for 18 months to see the long-term benefit of what this can do. And my reason for doing this challenge might be different from the reason people go in the mountains and sit in silence and meditate for 12 hours a day, but I think the overarching idea is the same. So literally day 2 of the challenge, right after I'd started, I got up and I went swimming in the freezing lake. It's so cold. And I got there and I was like, you know what? I'm already challenging myself. Why don't I do something new? See if I can use this as a form of meditation. Just push myself past where I'm comfortable going and see, maybe I'll get something from it. And in my experience, there was a connection between getting up, going in the freezing water when I really didn't want to, and this challenge of silence that I obviously didn't want to do. And that is, at the beginning, when you get in, it's gonna suck, it's gonna be terrible, but the body adjusts, the mind adjusts, and by the end, I was swimming around comfortably in the water and it felt great. And when you get out, you feel refreshed and new and super energized. And I think that was a similar feeling that I had with this challenge at the beginning. It was terrible, it's inconvenient. I wanted to say hi when I picked my parents up from the airport. I wanted to talk to Kyle about the podcast, what we're gonna do next week, what we're gonna do for work, all this stuff, but you can't, and it makes you uncomfortable, and you get something from that. I don't know if it's tangible, I don't know how to put my finger on it, but when you do it, you feel something from that. Another thing I did during this challenge was to try meditation for the first time. I always thought it was kind of corny or useless or kind of woo-woo, like, oh, you're gonna have some spiritual awakening, you're gonna become one with your inner soul, and I thought that was corny, and honestly, I didn't connect with the inner meaning of life. But what I will say is it felt good. I sat down, I focused on my breathing for 10 minutes, which honestly, just sitting and doing nothing for 10 minutes, that can feel like a long time. And it did feel like a long time, but by the end, I really enjoyed it. I literally almost fell asleep while doing it. It was so soothing. So the first reason I did this challenge was to challenge myself and to see how far I could push myself. And the second one I think ties directly to that, and that is to value our ability to speak and value words, and to make sure that when we're talking, we're actually talking because we have something to say to add value and not talking just to talk.
If you speak too much, your words are just like dirt, they're all over the place. If you only speak a little amount, because of the rarity of your words are like diamonds. They're a treasure.
What? Oh my God. Not you. God. I'm not grateful for you. I'm grateful for my right to talk that I am fully expressing right now, that you are not expressing. I hate you. You're so annoying. About me. You want me to talk about myself? My name is Kyle Stafford. I'm 21 years old. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I like to have fun. I like to talk. Unlike some other people that don't like to talk, but I like to talk. I like to express my right to talk. All about talking. Huge language guy. I don't know what to say to you. We just sit here in silence.
Now, obviously, this is not the most practical thing in the world. It was great to push myself and to challenge myself and to do this and to reflect on my own thoughts, but obviously, it's not the best idea if you have to go to work, for example, or if you have to talk to your kids or your wife or do anything that most normal humans do. You can't really do that. And so it's not the most practical thing in the world.
How's your vow of silence? And you haven't spoken once? You're such a liar. There's no way you haven't spoken for... When did you start? 3 days ago? And when are you done? So why? That's so stupid. What are you gonna gain from this? Well, you can't answer me. You're gonna gain mind? Okay. Gonna gain a lot of mind. Alright, well, I was gonna say we should record a podcast, but obviously you can't talking to myself. do we have an episode that's gonna be able to go out in time, or... Well, maybe I'll just speak to the people. Haven't you had to, like... Wait, did you just pick your mom up from the airport? You just sat in silence. Are your parents, like, annoyed about it? Are they, like, actually annoyed? I will never do this vow of silence. So, good for you that you're doing it. Cool, good for you. You've gained a lot of knowledge that you haven't talked for a week. Congrats. Anyways, enjoy your silent life. See ya.
On the second to last day of this challenge, I hung out with my friend Jordan to test out the Headspace app and work on meditation together. And at the end of it, she was like, wow, this is what having a baby's probably like. Like, I can talk to it, but it can't talk back to me, and it can giggle and grunt and make noises, but you don't really know what it's trying to say. And so obviously not practical for everyday life, but it's definitely an experience.
Visualization can seem like a rather daunting meditation technique at first, but our difficulties with it normally have more to do with the way we're approaching it, rather than the technique itself. The good news is, it can actually be surprisingly effortless.
We have fitness in our culture for the body, but we don't yet really have fitness for the heart and the mind.
I don't know about you. I definitely felt relaxed, but I don't know that I ever felt completely like sucked into like this like meditative spell. I have to say I'm kind of ready for John to be done with it. But especially because I haven't fucking talked to him for months. This is the first time I've seen him since being back from Europe. So there's plenty of things I'd like to discuss. But this was interesting. I admire him for doing it. Although I don't know if I would ever do this experience myself.
Now, for me, the last and I think the most important reason to do this challenge was to appreciate the natural world for what it is without all the distractions. For me, somebody who's really involved in social media and electronics and gaming and video and all this different stuff, I feel like a lot of times my entire day is inside on the computer or involved in social media and posting this and posting that and commenting on this and promoting this and doing that. And I think it's important to take a step back and realize that the world is pretty cool just without all the bullshit. Like, if you just go on a hike, it's pretty fucking amazing. And like, One thing that I found that I thought was really cool, maybe sort of hippie, sort of a little weird, but I thought it was fascinating, is there is this famous song called 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And a lot of people that aren't into music or art think it is absolutely ridiculous, but the whole idea of the song is it's literally 4 minutes and 33 seconds of complete silence. I'd heard about this before and I thought it was silly and stupid because I'm like, well, that's not a song, that's just a guy sitting there. But there's an explanation behind it, and the idea is that the composer or the writer of the song wanted people to appreciate the sound of the world, just how it naturally is. And everywhere in the world that this song is performed by anybody, it's never going to sound the same. Every place in the world, 4 minutes and 33 seconds will sound different. And I think that's something really cool and something to appreciate and to try out. And there's actually an app. There's a 4 minutes and 33 seconds app where any person in the world can record their own version and submit it onto the map, or I can listen to anybody else's who's ever made one.
Read all the books. Take advantage of your solitude, because that's very important. When you get a chance to be alone, man, that's very important time, because that's when you connect with the spiritual, your spiritual teacher.
So I finished the 7 days of complete silence. I will admit I slipped up a couple times. One time I was filming a clip with Kyle on FaceTime, and my FaceTime started freezing and lagging, and I was worried, and he didn't understand because I couldn't talk. And just out of reflex, I was like, oh no, shoot. And then he just started cracking up. He's like, oh my God, you talked. But other than that, I crossed my heart, I did not talk this whole week. Even when the cameras are off, even when I'm completely alone, just working on stuff, I didn't talk. I didn't say a word other than those times that I slipped up.
Guys, I did it. I can talk again. Oh my God.
I think the biggest thing that I took away from this challenge is that it's not fun to be with your thoughts all the time, but that's exactly the point. It's not supposed to be fun. And a lot of people are totally uncomfortable with the silence because it makes them feel awkward and they don't know what the other person's feeling or thinking. And that's the point. I think it's important at times to dive into that and to try and become more comfortable with it. I had a lot of time this week to talk to the voices in my head, to deal with my inner demons and my anxiety and my stress about the future and what I was going to do with my life. And sometimes you just put those off because you don't know what to say to them. You don't know how to respond to those voices. But when you confront them head on, there's something rewarding about that. At least for me, I'm glad that I did this. Would I do it again? Probably not. I might do a day or 2 days or 3 days, but I am glad that I did it. And I think if anybody else wanted to try it, I think you would be glad that you did it as well.
We've built a culture based on distraction and doing, and the pendulum is swung too far wide. We're so anxious to change everything around us, our car, our house, our neighborhood, our politicians, our iPhone, our spouse, our TV channels, our appliances.
With all that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this experiment or challenge or whatever you want to call it. I hope you all learned something and took something away from this, or at least thought it was funny or ridiculous. If you guys enjoy this style of video, I have a lot of more challenges coming up in the future. If you have something you want to recommend, some crazy thing like this for me to try out for a week or a month or whatever, leave it in the comments down below. My biggest priority in my whole life right now is my podcast that I co-host with my buddy Kyle. It's called Peaked in Middle School. We record in this studio. This is our studio dedicated to Peaked in Middle School. We upload every Monday and Thursday, and we've seen a lot of growth already. I'm investing all my time and money into that show. I really do believe it can grow if it just has an audience. So if you guys find me or Kyle interesting, be sure to check it out. It's the first link in the description of all these videos. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.